Howdy folks. I'm going to run through some of the customization on this vehicle, this iX3880. So let's get right into it. I'll tell you that I have already run through the customization, as you can see, but I'll show you what I did and what's available. This you got SS and C. It's a straight up ISX15 Cummins. The iX15 Cummins is the most powerful one. The Extreme Research and Development Center's prototype engine. This is the normal 16 valve. That's why I got 14 of them. The West Line, I meant V16. It would have a lot more than 16 valves. Here's another V16. This one's only A power. This one's A minus power. This one's A plus power. Those are the standard engines you get with the vanilla trucks. So I put this one in it. The gearbox, I've actually driven this truck around quite a bit. And I prefer the 5-speed box to the off-road boxes. They're 8 speeds and they seem to go really slow for the first 4-5 gears. Can't hardly get any speed out of it. It's like there's not enough of a gear change between the gears. And then all of a sudden, if you can manage, if you have enough open road to get to like 6, 7, and 8, then it goes way too fast. You can't keep it on the road. So I use the balanced. You do whatever you want. I've got the jacked hauling suspension on it. I've tried out the crawler suspension, as you can see. I've tried out the hauling active suspension. The hauling active works just fine, but I thought I would try the jacked hauling because I've never used that one before and I want to see what it does. Tire selection, have at it, man. Those are the tires that it defaults to. I sold them, that's why it says $9,000, otherwise it default to those. That's a good setup with the dualies to give you a wider stance, plus dual tires in the rear. That's not quite as wide a stance, but it's the monster mud tires. And there's this ice singles. We are in the chain tires. That's why they're studded. This is just a different size. I showed you those. There's the singles. These are the same thing without the studs. This would give you roughly the same stance as dualies on the rear, not quite as wide, but a much wider front end. I've had those on it. I decided to go to the studded. And then there's this. True Dualies, it says. OP True Dualies by Quasi. I'd imagine that would be pretty awesome through the mud and snow. But there are some tight areas you got to get through. Plus, just making the corners, where the roads where there's guardrails, you just about can't make the corner because the outside tire on the dualies is always up against the guardrail. Then we go down to the 46 inchers, 49 inchers. Those are the tires that I think I actually prefer just because of the look of them. I know the stance isn't quite as wide as having dualies on the rear. You maybe don't get as much flotation as having dualies on the rear. But I love the look of those tires, and it does give you a wider stance on the front. Never used these. I think they'd be worth trying out, but frankly, those are better. I would not touch the bug tires. It says, where did I read it? Was it in the JSON file? It said that these tires will cause bugs. So then you're down to 46 inch again. And the all-terrain, that's a nice tire. I know we're down to the all-terrain, but still. Look at that. Excellent, 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 excellent. That's a cool looking tire. It gives you about the same stance. I was looking for something else. Say it gives you about the same stance as those. See, these are wider in the front too. We were down to the all-terrains. Not quite as wide in the front, and not even close to being as wide in the back. And then the highway stock wheels, the low profiles. I wouldn't put these on my truck if you gave me $7,200. Let's turn the camera around. Get a little better look at these. Because this is the only place you'll ever see them, is in the garage on my truck. I know there's videos out there. I could name names of people that do run those low profiles on their truck. See, they're still excellent, 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 but only good for on-road. But aren't they on-road tires? Aren't they tires meant for asphalt roads? Anyways, spend way too much time on wheels. I would like to use those, but I already did another video that involves this truck, so I wanted to set this one up the same as the one you see in that video. Winch, make your choice. I use the extreme offline. You can't, there's nothing to do there. The snorkel, you got wedge cap, basic snorkel chrome. I really like that one. I would have that one on my truck, except that, see, there's the matte finish, except that I've got the painted one on it down here. I think in the other video I've got the chrome one on it, but I'm going to leave the painted one on it anyways. You can do two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Well, why wouldn't you do all-wheel drive? Frame add-ons. I could spend an hour talking about frame add-ons. So you're on your own there. But the only way to have the 3-slot with a crane is to use this combination. You can do a 2-slot with the US Mini. Let me actually put them on. Because you have the 2-slot, you can use any of the 3 mini cranes. If you put the US Mini on it, it gives you 1,000 repair parts, 10 spare wheels, and 1,000 fuel. With it's the crane. Any truck, any iX3880 that you put this crane on is going to have that. Stronger and longer mini crane with supplies. So if I wanted to leave this a 2-spot, I could leave that crane on it. Something else you can also do with the 2-slot is put the sleeper on it. There you've got the sleeper and the crane and the 2-slot. That's a pretty nice setup if you were never going to haul anything bigger than what you need a 2-slot for. So anyways, let's get back to set it back up the way I had it so we can get out of the garage. You have a choice of mud flaps. Well, you don't have a choice of mud flaps. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It depends on what. Actually, your mud flaps are integral or related to what type of add-on you have. Depending on your add-on, you might have to have the flood maps. Let me get a drink. Depending on which add-on you want to put on, you might have to have the mud flaps, or you might have to not have the mud flaps. I don't know if you can see it through all this here, but with this 3-slot cargo box, there's no mud flaps there. See what I mean? Then we'll close that and whoops, I already did that. I forgot I changed back. Various items you can put on the rooftop. I'll show the ones that I have. You can have the painted, matte, or chrome visor. I prefer the painted. You can do the same thing with the horns. You can have flasher bar or roof marker lights. I don't know why the roof marker lights weren't on it. I always run those. And I go back and forth between chrome and painted horns. And I go back and forth between, well, I always use the painted visor, but I go back and forth between the chrome and the painted horns. Just for some variation. You can have the chrome trim or the painted trim. Painted trim looks really cool. It's the same color as the air filter canisters. Took me a minute to pull that word out of my brain. Right now I've got the chrome trim on it. I really like the painted trim. And the matte trim doesn't really do anything for me, although it matches the matte stripe on the side. That might be something you're interested in. And you see the headlight surrounds change with the trim. You actually get more of a, I don't know, I think you get more of a yellow headlight. I think the headlights actually change color too with the trim, but I wouldn't swear to that. I think I'm going to put the painted trim on it. Bumper. That one. Plain old chrome. Matte. Painted. Or the 2,500 pound added mass winch bumper, which is what I ended up using. But I think in this video I had the chrome on it, so we'll leave it like that. Miscellaneous, go ahead and play with it. Stickers, again, depending on your add-on, there might be stickers available. If I had this a rotator, the rotator sticker would be available. If I had a sleeper on it or a toolbox on it, those stickers would be available. If I had the cargo box on it, that sticker would be available, so on and so forth. Exhaust. I've got the matte with the chrome heat shield. There's a full matte and a chrome. Doesn't really look chrome. Painted. That's more or less the default exhaust. And then that's the default exhaust with the matte. Default exhaust that's painted. Now I put the matte with the chrome heat shields on this one because I thought it was cool. But I found out by changing, I have 5 of these, and I found out by changing exhausts around on the other trucks, just for having some variation on the other trucks, I went with the stock chrome, and it blows out about 1/5 the smoke that the muzzle exhaust does. The muzzle exhaust, any of these 3, is going to be so much less smoke. It barely smokes at all. Any of the muzzle exhausts, they smoke like a frickin' house fire. You can't hardly even see through them. And I'm going to leave it on so you can see what I mean when we leave the garage. Rims, it's just default paint. You know, this is the default paint job, and I kind of think that camo is cool. You know, I just prefer this one. You know, or there's white. But this matches the matte surfaces. And it's the color. I love the difference between like the blue and the purple. And don't tell me that I'm giving you the wrong colors, because, you know, don't say it's not blue, it's not purple, because I'm colorblind. So I'm telling you what it looks like to me. Let's make it middle of the afternoon. Oops, I missed it. Man, I'm really making this a long introduction, ain't I? I planned on doing a really quick 5-minute thing. So gonna make it past the beautiful Chevy K30. We made it past. We didn't put a dent in it, but now look at that exhaust. How do you see where you're going? What I started doing when I did the job that I'm doing this little introduction for, I actually put the camera view right up over the cab so I could try to see between the pipes. But then I couldn't see out ahead of me worth of shit. Now, got an M134 on the street. I got a tow truck. I need to get the tow truck and the M134 both to the same job. I'm going to pull this ahead a little bit further. That's good. Alright. Now let's go into functions. Use 3-slot rollback. Number 4. And then I think Q and F. Yes. Q and F are, I need to change my view. Q and F are going out, E and G are coming back up. I really don't need a lot of angle on it. Something about that angle. Run it all the way out. I don't have to worry about digging into mud or anything. I just want a shallow angle on it right there. Let me close this. And because the M134, because I can drive the M134, I'm not gonna winch it up. You will see me winch a vehicle onto this truck later in the video. There's already like 3 different parts that I put together to make this video, and this will be the beginning to those 3 parts. I'm going to do something right now, not go into map, get rid of that, and unfortunately I can't start the tracking on the job we're doing on the rocks because I've already completed it. But in the next step of the video, or part of the video, you will see that stuff. This is an introduction to the rest of it. So we'll just drive it right up here. Handbrake. Stop engine. Change truck. Wish the pole wasn't in the way. There we go. Now the pole's not in the way. Go to the other side of it. Alright, now we go V. Camera wasn't locked in place to use the mouse. That. And now we're on the keyboard. And we use E and G. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit. Or actually, this is bring it in. And I'm going to bring it down at the same time. Look at those muzzle exhausts vibrating. You know, when I have the bigger stock looking exhaust on it, they don't vibrate like that. Alright. I'm just advocating for using the big stock exhaust. If you like the muzzle, go for it. I don't. But it was on this truck when I did the other video that this is the lead into. So now we just pack and we close functions, and then we take off into the next part of the video, which is not gonna line up perfectly with this, but I've already explained that this is an introduction to some video that I shot several days ago. So, 30-minute introduction. The original video was only 38 minutes. Now it's going to be over an hour. What the hell did I do that for? Oh man, I wanted to add like 5 minutes. And then I decided to go through the whole customize. I was going to just start out here on the street, show you loading it. But anyways, here we are, and thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I think I have a solution for the Scout 800. We'll see if it works out. You know, look at this. Looking at this again, it looks like with the right machine, you could maybe come in through here, or come in through here, get along this ridge line, and run that ridge line up into this area. But then you got this other ridge here you have to get down over. M134 is not back there. M134 is up here. So I'm going to try running up next to, between the rocks and the power pole, and top the ridge and see if I can stay basically close enough to this edge, damn it, to try and get down over here. If not, I'll have to try and come down the hill. If this is too steep, I'll have to come down the hill and then up over this part of the rise or something, which is what I did in the Duramax, and it's really steep. But if I did it in the Duramax, I can do it in the M134. This is about the third hour I'm starting. Including the, the 30 minutes, the original 30 minutes, and then the other little times I've cut in. This is about the third hour that I'm starting into. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I've done about 3 hours of how do I get that Scout out of there. Well, 2.5 hours. And God, I hate it when the camera does that. I'm going to see if I can unlock it and put it down here. Well, apparently I can't do anything about it. Alright. I could try to go through here or just over the edge. I see right over there is where my waypoint is. As would be a lot easier if these large boulder formations didn't cause the camera to keep switching around. Okay, we're over the ridge. Now, according to waypoints, I need to go that way. Now, if I go down the hill, I have to come back up over the ridge, remember? So I am going to try and back up a little and follow my waypoints. I say I was in here once with the Duramax, but I don't remember exactly how I did it. I just fought and fought and fought until I got the dang thing down there. I suppose I could go back and reference the video. Well, there it is. I just can't. You see how the camera is switching all over health. How can I tell where I'm going? Okay. So now we can pull it out of here. I want to show you something. There is, it looks like you could climb that rock formation on the other side, come down the other side, climb this rock formation, but then look at the ledges that you have to drop down. And this water's too deep. You'd have to try and stay on this hillside and you'd end up rolling over. So that's, on the map it looks like you could come in that way, but it's just more or less of a sucker bet. On the map it almost looks like you could climb up the river, but from here you can see that it's a big waterfall. And on the map you can see that there ain't really a channel through there. It sort of looks like there's a channel through there, but the rocks get so close together in certain places. And then how deep is the water? So this appears to be the best way. You just need a vehicle that can do that rock climbing and you'll be okay. You need a vehicle that will do that rock climbing without tipping over and you will be okay. Now with the Duramax, I tried with the Duramax, it was such a monstrous hassle to get in here. Because I tried going further down the hill and then coming over that ridge you see to your right. That I ended up trying to go back out by going down the hill. I went up onto this rock face and then dropped down and then went down the hill and was met with a guardrail at the bottom, which I was able to get over because it's the Duramax. But, not everything can just hop right over guardrails. This can, and the Duramax can, but... So, all that said, getting in here and doing that took another 8 minutes. Let's get hooked up to this and get the flock out of here. Get the flock out of here. The flock and everybody else. Did not intend to spend 3 hours, 2.5, getting the Scout 800 out of here. And it's just because I was trying different methods and stuff. Now, it was along this way. Was it along that way, or did I climb up that chute? No, I didn't come down that chute. That's another way. If you were with this kind of a machine, if you were up on top there by the watchtower, you could come bouncing down that chute. Whether you'd be able to climb back up towing a vehicle, I don't know. That ledge going off that way does nothing for you. You'd have to be able to climb that sheer face. Getting down would be easy. Getting up is a different story. Okay. Let's go this way and not tip over. And then go this way. I don't care if no. Started to say I don't care if the Scout tips over, but the Scout took the fucking M134 with it. Son of a bitch. That's gonna go over again as soon as I try and back up because it's on a frickin' tree. Took me a couple tries to get the M134 back on its wheels, and then the Scout rolled down the hill onto the M134 and tipped it over a third time. So now the Scout is down there, the M134 is up here. And I basically, at this point, am just going to drag it up and over and come back down past that pole. It's up to here, down to there, and we're out to the street. I am not going to bother trying to turn the Scout around. I got the destination, or I got the top of the hill right in front of me, only I just released the Scout. See, these trees have been screwing with me too. I mean, either I can't see what I'm doing, or I can't see the Scout, or I can't see the M134. Or I can't do anything to try and turn the Scout around because the trees get in the way. I hate the frickin' trees. One of the 3 times that the Scout was upside down is because there was a tree underneath it. And here's another one. So it wants to See how it wants to ride up the tree? At the same time that I'm trying to go around it. You see me turning the wheels. Come on. Well, it doesn't want to go around one side. I'll try and go around the other. See what it does? It just jacks the front end up in the air and won't allow me to get past the fucking thing. And now all it will do is let me, all I can do is run into the hillside. Let me bring that winch in. Keep it up here and bring the winch in. I would imagine that the Scout is probably upside down. It's probably wrapped up in trees. I can hear it banging around. When I let go of the winch and try to drive forward, it just won't go anywhere except for straight into that rock face. See, look what the Scout is doing. The Scout 800, I mean. They're having a tug of war over the top of that peak. Okay, there it's coming up. All right. Now I can't see what I'm doing. The Scout is going to tumble. I'm going to release the Scout. Yeah, because the Scout is going to tumble end over end to the bottom of the hill, and I don't want it to take the M134 with it. Fuck the Scout. I want to keep the M134 on its wheels. Get the fuck out of my way. I hate that Scout with a passion right now. It wasn't that hard to get out when it was on the PTS server. It's like they doubled the mass of it. Alright, now I'm going to shut off the M134. Can I change trucks to the Scout? No. Need to deliver it before you can use it. Well, screw you then. I'll change to the big guy sitting over here. And I'll drag that little piece of shit up on here. I'd like to be more straight on it. How much more time do I want to spend goofing around with this damn thing? See if I can bash it into place a little bit better. No, that ain't what I meant to do. I meant to go forward. Straight forward. Damn it. And it's still crooked as fuck because I went too far back when I kept, every time I wanted to go forward, I reversed. Right there. Right there. It's not as far away from the truck as I would ideally like to see it. Let's see if I can. Okay. Alright, here we go. It makes it more of a sharp angle by being this close. Ordinarily, I could keep the angle more shallow. Plus, the ground is nowhere near level. I wish I'd shown you, I wish I'd recorded more of loading the M134 because it went perfect. I was on level asphalt, but it didn't happen that way. So now I think I have to close this in order to use the winch. F to pull winch. And it's going to go off the side. I'm trying to let the winch out, but it's not allowing me to feed the winch out. Yeah, this is all jacked up. One wheel's not even on, hardly. It's the ground not level, wasn't straight to the vehicle in the first place. This isn't the way that I wanted to introduce the rollback to you. Now that it's up here, I can release the winch. Escape. Escape. Release the winch. And then grab a different winch point. And see if I can drag it over. No, it just pulls it down. That's a little better. And that just made it worse. And it's going to fall off the side now. I'm going to get way up the hill away from that fucking thing and see if the winch will still reach back to it. This is not what I wanted to make the episode about. Maybe I'll save this pile of shit episode for some other time. Just use the bits and pieces that are good. Rollback controls. Now I can get the rollback out at a more shallow angle the way I wanted to in the first place. Okay. Can I? No. I was going to ask if I could, change the camera angle. No, that's not it. No, you either get this or you get inside. Go back to winch points. Mouse won't work. There. Onto the back of the Scout. Close functions and start pulling it in. And by being this far away, I'm hoping that it will come up straight, because it'll have a chance to straighten out before it gets here. Okay, it's far enough up. I might as well go ahead and, rather than keep changing functions, I might as well go ahead and, I just saw it going at a bad angle, so I thought I would go back to trying to straighten it out, or to bringing up the rollback before it came all the way to the top, so that I might be able to get it to, and you can do multiple functions obviously, because I just let it down as I was bringing it in. So that's a little better example. It's still not perfectly in the center, but a little better example of how to load the rollback. It won't pack cargo with that on it, so there. Now I got packed truck before it had a chance to roll off. Although I think the brake is on, but that's beside the point. So now we have the dang thing loaded. Fisherman's house is up here. We have to drive up to the warehouse and around the corner and up this way. So we have a few minutes of a drive. I think there's a back way in, but I'd have to go all the way to the bottom of the hill and around and up this way. So why don't we just take that way out and we'll go in this way. Look at that tree underneath me. Now it disappeared. See how off center it is? I don't like things being crooked or off center. I don't like things being not right. Yeah. I have to go way back past this, all the way to where I left the sled. I wanted to deliver that thing. And oh, God, there's a dozen different things I wanted to do in this episode besides screw with a Scout 800 for the whole thing. So, like I say, I think maybe I'll... Where's this road to the right go? It goes up the hill and then looks like it turns right and goes back down the hill. So maybe I'll make, I think I'll take the parts that involve the Scout 800 and make a separate episode. And take everything else that I wanted to do with this hour and make an episode out of that and put it up first. When I've got that done, I'll put up the Scout 800 episode sometime later down the line, because I'm also doing the Village and Meteor custom scenarios. I'm taking turns putting up those episodes. And considering it takes a couple of days to get an episode up, you know, maybe once I don't know. Maybe once every 4 days you get a SnowRunner or something like that. I don't know how it's going to work out. It looks like you could go either dang way around this. One is going around and one is just cutting straight across. The cutting straight across one looks like it's rougher. Looks like it had a big dip in the middle. I remember very early on when I think it was when I was doing the first half-hour explanation of what I wanted to do, what I planned for the next episode. I think I said something about just leaving the Scout 800 thing until sometime later and not messing with it right now. And then I remember changing my mind and thinking, well, maybe I'll check it out and see what happens. I should be able to deliver it. That's the job. Delivers over here. Should be able to deliver it right where it is. On the money. So there you go. You get a little bit of mod review and you get a little bit of task completed. And I'm gonna say thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.